struggle, and she's not capable of succeeding on the higher things in academics. That was kind of the feeling I get. They didn't intentionally do that, but I think because I struggled, they just didn't expect much from me, so I didn't give much. And during that time, my parents were struggling. When I was about 5 or 6, I remember my dad coming home one night super drunk, and I was young, and so that was a traumatic event, and then putting him in the bathtub and trying to sober him up. And fortunately, soon after that, he turned his life around and we got involved in church. And at the age of 9, I remember knowing that I wanted to know Jesus as my Lord and Savior. And my mom sat down with me one night and explained to me, what it meant to be a Christian, and that, each person was a sinner. And if you want to spend eternity with Christ, then you ask him to forgive your sins, and then you will spend eternity in heaven with him. And, it wasn't some, earth-shattering life change because I was 9. So it wasn't like, my whole life changed. My eternal destiny is what changed. And but still, I still had those weeds that were growing in my life. And, through school, when I was in school, I memorized scripture and tried to apply them to my life. But, I was going to elementary school in the early 70s, and growing up in Tulsa, Oklahoma at that time, that's when racism was definitely a big issue. And I just remember being fearful myself because I didn't know what to expect. And I'm so grateful today that we're all here together today. And as a white woman, that I can stand and say, we need to do better. And now I know that that's my part, is to not stay silent, to love others and appreciate others, and to not stay silent. So I'm grateful for that platform. But, growing up around that, I was a very shy child. So that just made me even more introverted and shy. And I remember a specific time where my dad played softball with the men's league, a church league, and they were playing another team, and it was a black team and a white team, and for whatever reason, that it ended up in a big fight, and my dad got his teeth knocked out with a tire tool. But what's interesting is that it was a black person that helped get him to his car safely. So whatever happened shouldn't have happened. But that was, back then, that was a scary time. And, my dad had to have dentures, and I just, it was a fearful time. So I'm grateful that we have made progress there. And then I remember the next day, for whatever reason, my sister and I got into a fight. And guys, I don't know why God put these things on my heart to share, but we got into an argument, and my dad thought that I threw dirt in her hair. And so he gave me a spanking, and he kept giving me a spanking until I told him the truth, which I was telling him the truth. And I finally lied to him so that he would stop spanking me. And so, there again, I'm not good enough, that I'm unworthy. That weed continued to grow. Then when I was starting 5th grade, we moved to Arkansas near my dad's family, my mom's family. And when we first moved there, we had to live with my grandparents for a short time. And then we found a house and lived there for a year. But I was the new person, and, quiet and shy. But I finally started coming out of my shell a little bit. And I had a teacher that I loved who, Miss Bobbitt. I remember her name was Miss Bobbitt, but she got married that year and became Mrs. Law. And, as an elementary student, that was a big deal to see your teacher, get married. And she taught us sign language. But what I remember also about that year is I wrote a story called Frog Legs for Dinner. I have no idea why I remember that, but it was a catchy name, but the story was terrible. And I remember the teacher saying, it was a terrible story. So there goes the doubt again, that weed of, I can't do anything well. I'm not smart. And then, you know, move on to middle school, and I'm in the band, I'm in the choir, and, you know, I can play the flute, but I really can't read music. So I'm thinking I'm not smart enough. I can't do this very well. And I tried out for the rifle team, and I didn't make it at first. I tried out for the regional band. I didn't make that. So all these things I kept trying and was not successful in just kept adding to those emotional weeds of, I can't do these things. I can't handle, you know, I'm not any good. So then I played softball. I was actually halfway decent at softball, and loved doing that. But this was a time where, you know, when I had games, my parents, I didn't feel like they came to very many. Probably they did, I don't know, but I always felt like my parents went to my brother's baseball games, and they must love him more than they loved me. So I didn't feel loved. And I shared that with my mom later on, and, you know, we worked through that. But it was at that time that I became interested in boys too. I had, you know, my first kiss at one of my brother's baseball games, you know. So that's when I started seeking attention from boys. And, you know, I was, you know, a church girl and really wanted to do what was right. So, you know, I wasn't like sleeping with any guys or anything, but I'm sure I did things that I shouldn't have done when I was dating. But I do remember, you know, I wasn't selective in who I went out with. If a boy paid attention to me and asked me out on a date, I went out with him. And, you know, it caused struggles with my mom because she thought that I would go out with anyone. And so then, you know, that shame, another, you know, added to the garden of weeds that I was growing. And then I was in the choir in high school. And you guys, if you can relate to any of these, please, you know, let me know in the chat box. Am I like alone and feeling like you had these, were there different instances in your lives or events that made you feel unworthy or unloved, or that you weren't smart enough or good enough? Let me know. I hope I'm not alone here. And so when I was in high school, I was in a choir, and, you know, by this point I was more outgoing, but I wanted people to like me. I was a major people pleaser. If you're a major people pleaser, or were a major people pleaser, you know, give me a raised hand. And when I was in the choir, you know, I wanted to be the one that people thought was funny, but it was never like in a way where I was smart. They laughed at me, and I got the Ding-a-ling Award. Well, I laughed, but really I was crying inside, because who wants to be known as a ding-a-ling? So, you know, that added to my garden of, you know, I'm ignorant, and people think I'm funny, but it's because they think I'm ignorant. I tried out for cheerleading, didn't get it. Tried out for the Junior Miss pageant, didn't win it. So I kept doing all these things, and what seemed, you know, it seemed like it was failure to me. So I continued to date different guys, and then my senior year, I was dating a guy that my parents didn't dislike him, but they weren't, you know, gung-ho. And we got engaged for a very short time, because, you know, I got engaged, but I'm like, wait a minute, I want to go to college. And so I told him that, and he broke up with me, and started dating one of my best friends and married her. So, you know, I was traumatized. There again, I'm not worthy. You know, why should anyone love me? And I went away to college, and, you know, dated a lot of different guys my freshman year of college, majored in social life, and just look at my transcript that, you know, I did great at social life, but there again, you're not smart enough. You know, you're not capable of doing these things. So the summer after my freshman year of college, I came home for the summer, and actually I was supposed to do a summer missionary training, a summer mission project that summer. I grew up, by this time I was in Arkansas, like I said, and I was supposed to go to New York. I was this Arkansas girl, terrified of leaving home, so I opted to not go, and I went home for the summer to work. And that summer I started dating a guy that I went to high school with. Now, this is a guy that in high school, he was the most popular, he was the most athletic, he was a Christian guy, and he was interested in me. He was interested in me. So we started dating, and I fell head over heels in love with this guy. His name was Matt. And I went back to college that fall. And then during the fall semester, he came to visit me because he was going to school in Tulsa, and we got engaged. So the summer after my sophomore year of college, we got married. So it was a year later, and I quit school to plan my wedding the second semester of my sophomore year. We got married, and then I moved to Tulsa with him. I worked full time and went to school part time, and it was really hard because I was away from my family. I was newly married. I was sad, I was happy. I thought I'd married this dream, person, and but I was having a tough time adjusting. And about 6 months into the marriage, he decided he made a mistake, that he shouldn't have gotten married. And I was devastated. We went to counseling a little bit, but 4 days before our anniversary, he moved out, and we got a divorce. And this just started that cycle of looking for love in all the wrong places. And so I dated other people, and thank goodness I didn't get pregnant. But I was looking for love in all the wrong places. And about 6 months after my divorce, my husband, my current husband, he called me in Oklahoma. We had dated a little bit the summer before I went away to college, but I thought he was a nerd, so we didn't make it then. But he called me in Tulsa and asked me how I was doing. And to make a long story short, he helped me move back to Arkansas, and so I could go back to school full time. So I lived with my parents for a semester, and then I went back to school full time at the University of Arkansas. Now, to get into the University of Arkansas, remember my grades weren't so good. My husband, who was not my husband at the time, wrote a letter on my behalf to get me into the University of Arkansas. It worked. I got in. After the first or second semester, I cannot remember, I didn't do well academically. I got put on academic probation, and I had to do correspondence courses to get back into school. So I finally passed the courses, and I buckled down. I am tenacious, you guys. I don't give up easily, but everything seemed to be hard for me. And I kept playing that narrative in my head. Everything is hard. Everything is hard. And if you can relate to that, let me know, because things don't have to be hard. I have since found out. But I got back into school, and I really buckled down. I finally, over that 3 years, I dated different guys. I dated my husband off and on, but really I thought he was too good for me. I thought, I have this big D on my forehead from being married before. I'm not very bright. I really struggled with my self-esteem. And, we dated off and on. And then when I was in my senior year of college, he came home and we started talking. And to make a long story short, we had a long distance relationship for about 5 months and got married. I graduated from college on May 12th, 1990 at 2:00 and got married at 7:00. So I got 2 degrees in one day. It was, and I let my mom plan the wedding because I'm like, I already planned a wedding. I just need to finish school. And so we got married, went on our honeymoon. I thought, he was this perfect person, perfect Christian, and went to Panama because he was in the Army at the time. He was on active duty in the Army. And, we got married, moved to Panama, and there again, I'm away from my family and in a new country, newly married, new to the Army. I had zero experience with the military, so it was a lot. And I was missing 2 of my best friends' weddings that I was supposed to be in. And my husband, after 6 weeks, he's like, you need to go back home and get this out of your system. And he came around. He was, he was okay. And about that time, my parents separated. So all of these weeds kept adding on to my life. And if you can relate to any of these, let me know. You're still a people pleaser. Yes. He hit me for, hold on a second. Let me see what some of these say. You're so not alone. My upbringing was somewhat similar. Yes. So fortunately, my dad did not continue the beating. I did get spankings. I did get spankings when I knew when the belt came out. Okay, so my husband and I were in Panama. We were there for 2 years. During that time, like I said, my parents separated for about a year, and then they got back together. But I had my daughter there in Panama just before we left. I taught elementary school while we were there, and you know, I loved it there. We had newlywed friends from church and things, you know, my church life was great, and married was okay. It was a challenge because we had two totally different personalities. We were very different and didn't really know each other, I discovered. But, you know, we hung in there, and then we moved to Germany, and I had my second child. And then we moved to Maryland, and I had my third and fourth child. But over the course of probably the first 20 years of my marriage, I mean, we dated a lot, you know, we always went on dates, but it was a struggle because I struggled with my past, the fact that I'd been married before, that emotional baggage. And then if my husband and I would get into an argument and it wasn't going the way he wanted it to, he would get mad and say he wanted a divorce. And that would put up emotional walls for me. And there again, I thought, I'm not lovable. You know, I didn't make it with my first marriage. My parents didn't make it. I'm probably, you know, we're probably not going to make it. So all of those weeds continued to grow. And then, so we traveled all over the world and finally came back to Maryland in 2004. And I homeschooled my kids the first couple of years that we were, well, actually I homeschooled my kids for 6 years when we were traveling all over the world because I was a teacher. So we wanted them to have continuity in their education. But, you know, all of those years, even though I was educating my own kids, I struggled with my self-esteem and the fact that, you know, I didn't feel like I was good enough, or, you know, now I'm in this new place of Maryland and we've lived here before, but I was a civilian now and I didn't feel like I really fit in. So that was still, you know, weighing on me. And really, like I said, up until about 10 years ago, my husband finally realized what he was doing to me emotionally by doing that. And just so you know, in May 12th, we celebrated 30 years. So we've come a long way and learned a lot from each other. And it's not perfect. Our marriage is not perfect. We've had a lot of struggles, you know, and kids add to the mix, you know, when they get into trouble, whatever, that affects your marriage as well. But divorce, you know, my husband finally stopped saying that he wanted a divorce, thank goodness. But all of those weeds were still there, and I wasn't doing anything with them. That I guess I didn't know what to do with them. And then in 2005 is when I turned 40, and that's when I discovered that I was at a high risk for developing breast cancer. I had my first mammogram, and I had lobular carcinoma in situ. And, you know, from ages 40 to 44, I had 4 different biopsies, and I thought, you know, it's always LCIS. So you know, if the doctor said go every 6 months, I went every 6 months. And then in October of 2008, when I went in, they said, you know, you have some more spots. We want to keep an eye on them. And I said, well, can we wait till I get out of school in June? And she said, no, I really want you to come back in May. So I went back in May and had another biopsy. And then I went back on June 1st. And if you remember correctly, I said I got married the first time on June 1st. I don't know if I told you guys that. And that was also my parents' wedding anniversary, June 1st. So not a good day. That was the day I went and found out that I had breast cancer on June 1st, 2009. And I was teaching in a small elementary school here in town. I loved it there. The kids were great. The parents were great. It was 5 minutes from school. And in March of that school year, before I found out I had breast cancer, I found out that my position was being eliminated. They had to eliminate one position, and I was the low man in seniority. So I had to find a new job, a new school, and I had breast cancer. So, and I remember my principal saying, don't tell your new principal that you have breast cancer before you accept the job. So, well, I'm not worthy again. So, you know, that now I have breast cancer. Oh my goodness. So now my body is, you know, I had a double mastectomy. You know, I'm never going to look decent again. I had the double mastectomy, had 4 rounds of chemo, and during the course of that time, I was teaching full time, and I wasn't doing a very good job because I was going through breast cancer. And at the end of the school year, my principal told me that she was moving me down to 2nd grade because my test scores for those kids wasn't that great. So I'm like, great. So there again, I thought, I'm not a good teacher. I'm not, added to that garden. And if you guys can relate to emotional weeds, let me know. So I, finished out the school year. I started the following year in 2nd grade. And that summer of 2009, or after I finished my treatments, I thought, you know what, I am not going to let breast cancer define me. So I hit the gym and I joined a Biggest Loser, a competition. I'm like, I am determined. I'm very competitive. So I'm not always very good at things, but I'm very competitive. And so I did the Biggest Loser. I actually won. One of the few things in my life I've won. It was a 12-week program, and I lost 21 pounds in 12 weeks. And then I ended up losing about, I think, 30 pounds because this is 2009, spring of 2009, and my husband and I had our 20-year wedding anniversary planned to Jamaica. So, girlfriend, I am going to look good when I go to Jamaica. So I got myself, together and lost the weight and looked better than I had looked before, when I got married. And, I was starting to feel better. Physically, I was feeling better, but I still had these emotional weeds in my garden that I had not taken care of. And so that began my journey. And, I did the fitness thing. I ended up moving up to middle school. I've been teaching middle school now for 9 years. And then about 5 years ago, I was introduced to essential oils. And, I thought, you just use them for physical things. You do not need them for emotional. And so that sounds weird. You just don't use them for emotional. I'm like, use them on the bottoms of my feet because my feet hurt after exercising. If I have a headache, I use them for my, head discomfort. If I have stomach discomfort. So I'm like, I have these wonderful oils. I don't have to go to the doctor anymore, which, yes, I do go to the doctor if there's something that is big, but I took wellness into my own hands. I'm like, these are tools that I can use physically. So I started using them for my physical health, but I still had those emotional issues going on. And I thought, you cannot use oils for emotional. Well, ladies, you probably know this, but when you have stress, anxiety, and if you can relate to this, it causes physical issues, which, I just listed all of the things that I went through. And I think all of those things contributed to having breast cancer because stress, it weakens your immune system and wreaks havoc on your body. So I started using oils and I started sharing them with everybody, whether they wanted to hear about it or not. I'm like, you got an ailment? I got an oil. And so friends, family, some of them would run from me when they would see me because they're like, oh my gosh, Christy's going to try to give us an oil. So I started using the oils. And then about 2 years ago, I decided, you know what? I want to start building online. So I started this coaching program a little over 2 years ago. And what that coaching program did for me was made me realize I had a lot of work to do on myself. And that's when I started my morning routine, having my gratitude journal, doing my prayer journal. Guys, I've been a Christian since I was 9, but having a consistent quiet time was pretty non-existent. And I started doing that on a daily basis. And God started changing my heart. He started softening my heart. And, it wasn't done yet. And then about 2 years ago, I met with a nutritionist because I'm like, I can't lose weight now. I'm like stuck. And so the next change I made was I eliminated dairy. So if your breast cancer was estrogen or it was hormone related, let me know in the comments. Because what I discovered was dairy products affect your hormones. They have like 60 plus hormones plus, ew. and they can wreak havoc on your hormones. So I eliminated dairy and I started losing weight again. I think I lost like 20 pounds. And so that was another change that I made, and becoming a better version of myself. And then I would say within the last year, when I met with the nutritionist, she said, Christy, do you ever meditate? And I'm like, I pray. She's like, no, do you meditate? And I'm like, what is meditation? And if you meditate, let me know in the comments. If you meditate, let me know. Do you meditate? How often do you meditate? So I started meditating. She's like, it's just quieting your mind. I'm like, I have ADHD. Like, I'm a squirrel. Like, so if you can relate to that, let me know. So I started, she said, well, how do you do that? And she gave me she suggested an app. So I used an app at first. I wasn't super consistent, but about 6 months ago, I decided to get serious about it. And I started using this book called Essential Emotions. And in this book, it tells you, the emotional aspect of each oil. Like today, I told you I used Arbor Vitae, and it is the oil of divine grace. And what God has done from my using the oils for that is, just like I told you, a gardener has to have the water to soften the soil to be able to easily remove the weeds. Well, using the essential oils in my meditation has softened the emotional weeds so that they're more easily removed. Now, I still have to do the work. The oils don't do the work for you. You have to do the work. But what it has done is each day when I do my meditation, I, ask, okay, so what area of my life do I need to focus on? And like I told you today, it was, let's see here. God can help find balance in life and teach what to hold close and what to release. So that's what I meditated on today. And each day it's something new. And I will tell you that now I love myself. I didn't love myself before. I didn't see that I had value for anyone else. And about a year ago, I started my breast cancer survivor group called Journey to Wholeness. And we have almost 400 women in the group now. And when I started it, it was, I was scared about telling them anything too much about oils because I didn't want to be that spammy network marketer. So I was very hush-hush about it. I shared, but very cautiously. And then a couple of months ago, I'm like, I need to change the name again, Journey to Wholeness After Breast Cancer, because that's when the big changes that happened in my life. That's when I got in shape. That's when I started using the oils. That's when I started meditating. That's when I started having the daily quiet time. So it's Journey to Wholeness After Breast Cancer. And my mission is to help women find their new normal after breast cancer, because after breast cancer, you all know that you don't feel the same again. You've lost your hair, or you lost your breast, or lost your mind in the process, have these scars, but God is there and he loves us. And about a month ago, I heard this song. Jill, I like the Calm app too. That's what I started with. About a month ago, I heard this song by Danny Gokey, and if you've heard it, let me know. It's called, my mind just went blank. Heal your heart, help your heart, tell your heart to beat again. So the song is Tell Your Heart to Beat Again. And the story about this song, Danny Gokey is the one that I heard sing it, but he's not the one who wrote the song. But this is a true story. There's a woman who had a heart surgery. And when she had this heart surgery, they did the surgeon performed the surgery. Everything went perfectly. And he put her heart back in her chest, and, it did everything right, but her heart would not start. And so, they did it again, and her heart still would not start. And the doctor took his mask off, and he leaned down and he said, Mrs. Johnson, your heart is repaired. We did everything perfectly. Everything, went smoothly. We repaired it, but I need you to tell your heart to beat again. And immediately her heart started beating. And so when I heard that story, and then when I heard that song, I'm like, this is exactly what has been going on in my life, that I had, you know, up until a few months ago, really the past probably 5 years, but the past year or so when I've really spent that time with the Lord, I wasn't helping my heart to beat again, to heal again, because the song talks about is, you know, we have these scars, but you have to come into agreement with God. You have to say, okay, God, this is what I believe with, because I could tell myself, you're not worthy. You don't deserve all of this, and keep that narrative. But that's not true. God loves me. He loves each of you. And he died on the cross for us. And so that must mean, you know, we're pretty special. So I heard that song and I thought, this is my message. This is how I can help other women. So I have a workshop that I put together. After that, I'm like, this is how I can help ladies. And so, because I had been working on a different workshop, but God said, no, this is what I want you to do. So I'm going to share my screen here with you guys, because I want to share why that song meant so much to me. But let me see here. Yes, I agree, Pastor Rhonda. It does give you a whole new outlook on life. I really think after breast cancer, I actually started to live my life to the fullest with God's mercy. Yes, that's exactly where I am too. Okay, let me share my screen and tell you about my workshop here. Wait a second. All right. Pastor Rhonda, what do you see on your screen? You're muted.
I see pictures of your journey to wholeness.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to show you guys this real fast, just this one picture. So this was me in December 2009, after, you know, no hair, and there's my wig, and then the other one is our anniversary trip to Jamaica. So come a long ways, and I'll show you this one other picture, and then I'll tell you about. And this is my family now. So I'm so grateful that now all of my kids have graduated from high school. My youngest son just graduated from college. I have a grandson who I love and adore. So God is good. All right. Now, the Help Your Heart Beat Again. Let me move us out of the way here. So this workshop I'm opening up to you guys, because it has made such an impact on my life. And all I've done is use this book, The Emotions, Essential Emotions, and made it into a workshop. So tell your heart to beat again, tell it to love again, forgive again, and hope again. Because when we have those emotional weeds in our life, it's hard for us to love ourselves. And when we don't love ourselves, we don't love others the way they're meant to be loved. Like, I love my husband now. I've forgiven him for things that he's done, and forgiven myself for things that I've done in our marriage. And it helps you to hope again. So healing emotional scars. Oops, sorry about that. I'm trying to move us out of the way so I can see my screen here completely. So healing emotional scars and learning to love yourself. And in this workshop, you'll discover ways to hope again, believe again, trust again, try that business again, date again, whatever it is again, believe in that healing again. So, and I said this a minute ago, whenever you come into agreement, whatever you come into agreement always wins. So it makes me think of that verse, for as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So what we think about, we bring about. So, let me move here. So dislodge yourself from the lies of the enemy and come into agreement with his word, his plan, and his picture for your life. And I just, you know, I have this message just share with others now. I'm like, oh my gosh, Lord, thank you for healing my heart, and help me teach other women how to heal their heart. Okay, so in this workshop, we'll teach you how to create healthy habits and routines, learn simple meditation techniques, because this is an area I'm still working on. I'm still learning, and my way's not perfect, but it works for me. And to integrate essential oils into those routines. So it's a 3-day workshop. And the first day, we talk about the 5 stages of healing. And in those 5 stages, it's healing the physical body, healing the heart, releasing limiting beliefs. And I did not realize how many limiting beliefs I had until I started, working on myself emotionally, professionally. But releasing limiting beliefs, your spiritual awareness and connection, and figuring out what your purpose in life is, because God has given each of us a purpose. And really, until the last 2 years, God has given me my purpose. I mean, my purpose before was with my kids. I feel like it changes as we grow and develop. And then decoding emotions and tools for emotional work. And then the 3 ways to use essential oils, and, figuring out which oil is best for you for like meditation. Then, okay, so this workshop, I don't know what the yellow lines are at the bottom there. I'm not sure what I did there. So with this, I have 3 bonuses. The first one is a 1-hour session with me. Hey, Christy, do you think what oils I should use? And we sit down and look at what you want to work on and figure out what oils work for you. So that's a $97 value, but it's a bonus, so it's free. Then I'll give you 5 diffuser recipes to use for meditation, and then a recorded meditation that I will provide you with. All right, so the value of the workshop is $150, but I'm going to offer a June special. It's $47, and it will be, did I put the dates? Wait a second, did I show the dates? Oh, here we go. So it's going to be June 11th through the 13th. That's this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I'm accommodating my West Coast friends here. If you are on the West Coast and you're interested, and if we need to adjust the time, that's fine. But it's 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock p.m. each night in a Facebook group, a private Facebook group. And I'll do a Facebook Live and go through the content. And I just did it with some ladies in my group. There were 8 of them, and it was amazing. And the ladies enjoyed it. If any of the ladies are on here that were in that, type in the chat box and what you got from it. I can't see right now who's on here. But let me go back to this. So it's $47 for the 3-hour session. And I put in the chat box at the very beginning of the chat box, the link for the registration. It's through PayPal, and it's $47, and that includes the 3 bonuses. And then on Tuesday, the price goes up, but you still get the bonuses. So you want to get in before the cart closes Monday night for the $47. And then it will close Tuesday night, and then Thursday night, we will start the workshop. So the first thing to do is register for the workshop with the link that I provided. Like I said, the payment is through PayPal. Then I will send you the link for the Facebook group, and you'll go in there and introduce yourself and tell me something that you want to learn from the workshop. And then if you know someone that you think would benefit from it, share the link with them. And I always have a special gift for people that share it with others. And I think that is it. Oh my goodness. I did a lot of talking there. So, thank you, Rhonda. Does anyone have any questions about my story, about the workshop, anything?
I think it was pretty good for you to be able to pull your life history and to pull your experiences and to be able to show all the different weeds and situations in your life to help me reflect on the things that I've gone through in my life that have shaped me to be who I am. But all of that brings us to a place of where we are as cancer survivors and how we can get rid of those things so that we can continue to stand and to do the things that God has called us to do. Having cancer, while it's not a good thing, it's part of our journey.
Right.
And it's part of our journey to help us to share with others, because as much as we would like to say that cancer is gone away or that it would go away, it's not today. So we still need to be able to lift other people as we climb and as we go through this journey. And the way that you have shared it with us today helped me to understand my stuff.
Yeah,
and
well, and
that
like
it's not
I said,
all bad.
I had no intentions of sharing any of my life story. It was just going to be my breast cancer journey. But God said, no, that's not what this is about. This is about getting rid of the weeds in your heart. Mm-hmm. And you had a lot of weeds. And these are the times that you got those weeds and you just let them keep growing. So I feel like God has given me the tools to take out those weeds. And it's a variety of tools that I have now. And, just like marriage, it's not just one tool that saves a marriage. It's a combination. And now that I have those tools, I'm like, I have hope, and I can give other women hope on the other side of breast cancer. There is hope and there is life afterwards.
Exactly. And someone asked if you could also put in the chat box the name of the book that you referenced.
This one is called Essential Emotions.
Okay.
And this is the most current version of it. So, and I meant to mention another book that I had read that has helped, Mastering Your Mean Girl, because we all have those voices that say, you're not worthy, you're not pretty, you're not this, you're not that. And she talks about it as well. And so, I have done a lot of personal growth, but I've done it intentionally. I have put the work in, just like when you exercise, you can't just say, I'm going to lose weight, and you lose weight. You have to do the work. So it is work. It's painful.
Why is Linda shaking her head?
I can't see Linda
here. Because we actually have an exercise class on Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday, which was encouraged by Linda and attended by Eva and myself. And even though it's chair exercise, woo, we sweat. And we're still on 30 minutes, and Linda's trying to get us to go to an hour. Woo, when we grow up, we'll go to an hour, Linda.
Well, just like meditation, you start small, or any routine that you're starting, you start simple. Just like when I started the dairy free, I'm like, oh my gosh. And, you learn one thing at a time. So
I was just going to ask you about that, because I think you have a lot of willpower, especially with dieting thing. Like that's my, like, I know, like I had to give up certain things and it's so hard.
Well, I remember the first time I went to the grocery store and I walked out so depressed because I'm like, everything has dairy in it. I was convinced everything had dairy in it. And until I learned what things I could substitute with, now it's like, but the first 4 months I had to be total dairy free, because I knew if I didn't go total, I would never do it. So, and I'm not perfect. I have, now I have cheat days every once in a while, but it has made a big difference. So we all want to do things to improve our chances after breast cancer. So, this is what I did. So.
And Roxy says, I wouldn't be able to push in my life story, and I wouldn't be able to push a life story in an hour, even in a nutshell.
Well, I didn't really say much about raising my children, so that's okay. They weren't part of this story.
Okay.
That's good.
Any other questions?
Your workshop, because I had cancer of the uterus, so and I know generally, we mostly hear about breast cancer or whatever. Is that going to be some focus in your workshop, or is just overall cancer, no matter what?
No, I mean, it doesn't even have to be breast cancer. It doesn't have to be any cancer. I mean, you learning how to use the oils, and just becoming a better version of yourself, that's the purpose. So does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that answer your question? Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
It does.
Yeah, and if this isn't the right time for you, but you're still interested in the workshop, just say, I'm interested in the workshop, but not another time, maybe another time, or just let me know, and then I can reach out to you and let you know when the next one is. So.
Okay. That's good.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns or feelings? I'm trying to look through this. We didn't understand whoever that was. Roxy, was
Saying
that?
that I got disconnected.
Oh, okay. And you're back now.
Yes,
So we read your
yes,
comment. You wouldn't have been able to put your whole life in an hour, let alone a nutshell.
yes. And I'm only 38.
You said you're only
Okay.
38?
Only 38.
Oh, you could
No.
get it in an hour. You could do that.
38.
And Jill, I like what you said. You discovered you needed to forgive yourself in this journey, and God placed
No,
you.
there's
Yeah,
too much.
I like that. And you know, that was a weed I had to remove. Like, Lord, I have made lots of mistakes in my life. Please forgive me. And it's tough.
And you know, it's actually refreshing to know that when we're going through our stuff, we think we're the only one.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then to know that
That's
someone else has gone through something similar, or even, you know, they say they say when you think your life is bad, take a look at somebody else's, right? But even to know that, just to be encouraged that you're not alone in this, and that we can even come together and do better.
yeah. And that's why I love the support groups, you know, having platforms like this, because that's where you realize that you have more things in common than not, and that you're there to help each other and encourage each other. And so, yeah.
Okay.
Good.
All right. So, and I know that I'm happy to see Jill. Jill, I've been meaning to call you. But hopefully you got some ideas too. Because Jill and I also do essential oils, but Christy is on the move. Christy is on the move. So we just want to make sure that we all know that whatever it is that you are doing in your life to make your life better, that will make the lives of others better, we want to give you an opportunity to share that information as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
next month, on the 20th, we actually have 3 nurses in the nursing program at Charles Drew University who will be sharing with us on 3 different health topics. And I'm sorry I don't have them right here in front of me to share with you all. But it would
I'm
be
here. I'm
there's
here.
Tabitha. Hey.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Hello, everybody.
So do you know the topics, Tabitha?
We have one is de-stressing with yoga. The other one is learning the fundamentals of donning PPE like masks and gloves and things like that. And my topic would be pre-diabetic diet.
Right, very good. So we're gonna, on the 20th, we're gonna have the 3 of them, and we actually will be the class, the entire class of the Charles Drew RNBSC class will be joining us on the 20th. So I'm looking for all of you to return then and chime in with us, and share this information with others. Share the link. So that other survivors anywhere in the United States can join us and participate, because we are trying to be a blessing across the nation. Okay, and I see Bianca is on here and has been for a little while. Bianca, you want to say anything today? Want to say hello?
Yes. Hi, everybody. I just want to say thank you to Christy for your story, and me and Giuseppe are probably gonna end up doing this as well. My fiance, Pastor Ronda, you know my fiance, we're listening in. So.
Oh, awesome! Yay! Tell me his name again.
Chris.
Chris. Hey, Chris.
Thank you for being here today.
Hi.
Yeah, all of you, thank you for being here. And I hope that you got some value from my story, because like I said, I have no idea why God wanted me to go back so far in my history, but it all tied in with, you know, the weeds. I've realized these are where the weeds came from. So recognizing that, I think, is also healing as well. So.
I have
and
a question.
hey,
Hi.
Teresa.
Hi,
Hi,
it's
Lisa.
Carlita.
Sorry.
Hi, everyone. I really enjoyed your presentation.
Thank
and I
you.
wanted to know, the book Essential Emotions.
Uh-huh.
If we take your class, does the book come with it, or should we buy it ahead of time in preparation for the class?
You don't have to purchase it at all. You don't have to purchase it to participate. It does not come with the workshop. I just got it on Amazon. But I just break down how the book works. And then if you want to get it, it's a separate thing. But I do have a magazine that I give to people that finish all of the homework assignments. That it's a great magazine called The Living Magazine, and it has articles about where some of the oils are sourced and about meditation. There's an article in here about meditation. There are diffuser recipes. So I give this as a gift for people that complete the homework assignments. Because remember, I'm a teacher, so you get homework.
Yes, I can tell you that I love essential oils, and I'm learning more about them. I've been using them for a while. However, I've decided to take a more active role in my life with just getting the benefits of essential oils. So I really appreciate it. This was right on time. Thank you.
Oh, perfect. You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
Good to see you, Carlita.
You too.
Yeah, Carlita, if you want to
Hi,
put your
everyone.
email address in the chat box privately to me, then I'll email you information.
Okay, I will do that.
So also I had another little announcement I totally forgot all about. This coming Friday, the 12th, at 7 o'clock in the evening on Zoom, of course, and I haven't sent it out yet, so don't feel like you missed it. We're having trivia night.
Ooh.
A night of, about an hour or so of fun, and there'll be prizes and an opportunity for us just to get together and laugh and have a good time. So when you see that link come out, please share it. We want to have as many people as possible, and invite your family and friends that can be with you or on with you, because you'll have an opportunity to chime in together for the first one to give the answer and make it a lot of fun. So, and the Charles Drew nurses will be working with us on that. They'll be running that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. That's this coming Friday. So look for that invite from me.
Those are fun.
Yeah.
What type of trivia are you doing? Are you doing like a theme or?
It's gonna be, one is just gonna be just general fun stuff. One is going to be health related.
Oh.
And I don't remember what the third category is. Tabitha, do you remember? There might be African American trivia.
I did this one night on a Facebook Live. It was fun.
Okay, 80s and 90s trivia. Okay, I probably need to go study that.
I think it is like a cultural trivia. I think it is.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, I don't have anything else. Does anybody have any other questions? Is that a hand raised? I can't see everybody. I gotta do it different. Oh, yes, just send me.
Wonderful presentation, Christy. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
I felt like when you were talking about it, I was like I can totally understand. I can relate to many of the loopholes and ups and downs that we go through. But I wanted to ask you, you mentioned about the link. Gonna be posted, or
it's in the top of the chat box.
Oh, okay. Let me, because I didn't see it.
Scroll up to the top of the chat
box,
because
and I put it in there. I came in afterwards. It doesn't show me.
Okay, so we'll do it again.
Yeah, if you join.
Let me put it in right now.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, I got it.
Did
There
you
you
did
go.
it?
Yep.
Got it.
Oh, thank you. You're fast. Oh yeah, I didn't think to go to the top of the thing. I was trying to go back to the document I took it from.
No problem. Yeah, it's
Tell
because
me your name again.
Yesemi Lopez.
Yosemite.
Yes.
Perfect.
I need to tell you, that's not her name anymore. Her name is Dr. Lopez.
Awesome. Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank
Well, I
you.
just want to say, Pastor Rhonda, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It's been a growing process for me. Like, you know, even today, I'm like, this is uncomfortable. Like those mean girl voices were going on in my head, like, Christy McConnell, what? People don't want to hear your story. They, you know, so Satan tried to stop. I even called Rhonda and I'm like, I'm going to be sharing things I've never shared on a public platform. So what are your thoughts? And she prayed with me. And so I'm like, okay, God, this is about you. It's not about Christy McConnell. It's about you. So thank you, Rhonda, for letting me be here.
You're welcome. And I encourage you all to go over and join her page, her Facebook page. A group to, what is it? Journey to
Wholeness after breast cancer. Let me put it in the chat box. Hold on a second. And on Sunday nights, we have Sunday Spotlight and Sunday Sister Support. So one Sunday a month, I have someone come in and share their story. So Pastor Rhonda is going to be our guest in July, on July 12th. And then the other Sundays, we do Sunday Sister Support, and we talk about, you know, issues to help us support each other. And then on Wednesday nights, I do Wednesday Wellness, and I talk about, you know, things to do for wellness, whether it be essential oils or fitness or nutrition. I tend to stick with oils more because that's my area of expertise. But that's the whole purpose for Wednesday Wellness, and it's at 8 o'clock East Coast time on Sunday night and Wednesday night. And I am putting the link for my group in the chat box now. So.
All right.
And I appreciate you guys being here today. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule, because time is our biggest commodity right now. So.
Yes. And just because we're home does not mean we're not meeting back to 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 back. All right,
yes.
Ladies, this has been a good day. I pray that you have a great week, that you stay well and you stay safe. And we'll see you on Friday. Oh, no, on Monday for exercise, Linda.
Yes, Monday at 12.
And Friday for
Linda.
trivia night.
Good job. Thank you,
yeah.
ladies, for being here today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Pastor Rhonda.
All
Bye-bye.
right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.